It's 9 p.m. on the East Coast of America, and live from the WACA studios, this is Good Night. In our main story and in sports news, the Indianapolis Colts star quarterback Andrew Luck has announced a premature retirement, sending fans in the league into a spiral. The 29-year-old was in the middle of a promising stint as a team-saving player for the newly decent Colts, but his retirement will more than likely send the team back to mediocrity, as there were 2 seasons ago. Luck's retirement comes off of almost 2 years of no playing time from 2015 through 2018 after a gnarly shoulder injury that required constant rehab and a more recent ankle injury. But he had played in 2018, which included a playoff stint in the first couple weeks of 2019. In Week 3 of the NFL preseason, the quarterback announced that he was done, to everyone, including his teammates' surprise. Luck has been widely regarded for his overly nice personality, even complimenting sackers who threw him to the ground. And his caveman-like beard has been the subject of many a meme for his tenure as the Colts quarterback. Luck says that he's doing this for his family, but another reason is obviously frustration at his injuries. His retirement is hardly surprising considering the long-term health effects seen on the football veterans, and columnists are questioning whether or not Luck's sudden retirement will spark a wave within the NFL. It hilariously did not seem to spark anything in Patriots head coach Bill Belichick, saying in a press conference that he didn't really see that Luck had retired, but he said that he respects the decision. He finished the press conference by stating that his team is moving on to the next game without any more words on the subject. The team later clarified that Belichick meant that he didn't see the retirement coming, not that he didn't hear about it, but we're not buying that. It's probably the most Belichick thing not to pay attention to one of the most ground-shaking events in football, if it doesn't concern his team. After all, this drama, however, his final game was met with boos from the Indianapolis crowd as he left the field. Stay classy, Indy. Stay classy. In other football news, Oakland Raiders wide receiver Antonio Brown has been squabbling with the NFL over his attachment to a 10-year-old helmet for the last couple months, biting into practice and preseason games at this point. But the NFL has doubled down with a ban on the company that makes Brown's helmet. New today, however, is that many companies reportedly are offering deals with Brown and giving him helmets to wear for them. Brown's agent says that the alternatives are being used and that the saga of Antonio Brown seems to have ended with endorsement deals for the stubborn Raider. We're getting word that other athletes have followed suit and are looking into endorsement deals of their own. Chris Sale has reportedly stopped using his glove, looking for a glove sponsor to make one especially for him. Landon Donovan has started playing soccer barefoot until he negotiates a huge contract with Puma as well. Certainly a tumultuous time for sports. Now, in other celebrity news, famous British actor and villain in the new Fast and Furious spin-off, Idris Elba, was on a late-night show discussing his upcoming role in the movie Cats, a movie which nobody is particularly excited for because of how creepy all the cats look. But when asked to describe the plot of Cats, he drew a blank, saying, "I guess it's about a cat." He later gave a sort of a better answer to the question, but we over here don't blame his lack of knowledge. Cats is tough to nail down. Some might even say it makes no sense. But it's not alone, as we've learned firsthand. Our producer and residential music theater nerd, Connor, took a crack at explaining the plot of some of the biggest musicals from the past 50 years. And he didn't have much more success than Idris Elba.
All right, how do you want to start this off?
I was just waiting for it.
All right, Connor, explain Phantom of the Opera to me.
Oh my god, it's so boring, dude. There's like 4 good songs in the whole thing.
What about Chicago?
Chicago is about this girl who commits a murder and then goes to jail for it, and it's like a whole thing. She gets pregnant, and it's like a bunch of really good songs in it, though. Check it out.
What about Les Mis?
Les Mis is about the French Revolution, but it's also about the dumbest love triangle in any musical ever.
Explain Rent.
Rent? It's a bunch of kids not paying their rent.
Isn't that like every millennial?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
But they were doing it because of AIDS, not because they couldn't afford it.
Book of Mormon. Creators of South Park.
Yeah, there are 2 Mormon missionaries. They get sent to Africa, and one of them has a crisis of faith, and the other one has a really rad guitar solo.
Alright, explain Pippin.
Pippin is about... I'm wearing a shirt right now. I'm wearing a Pippin shirt right now. It's like my favorite musical. Pippin is about a dude who thinks he's going to be really extraordinary and meant for really awesome things, and then ends up that he's not. So I kind of relate to it a lot.
How to succeed in business without really trying.
Okay, it's about idealized 1960s capitalism, the rags to riches story, mixed with really sexist 1960s stereotypical gender roles. But it's actually a lot of fun.
Everybody's favorite Hamilton.
Hamilton, it's a rap musical for white people.
And last one, last but not least, Kinky Boots.
Kinky Boots is about a man who really, really likes his boots. And his boots, he and his boots go on a sexual adventure together.
Alright,
That's
thanks
not
for
what it's about
explaining
at all.
all of these to me.
That's not what it's about at all. Yeah.
So, thanks for explaining these all to me. I'll be sure to go check them out.
Yeah, we're real good.
And finally, in heartwarming news, the upcoming live-action remake of The Lady and the Tramp, a re-imaging of the classic Disney movie about 2 dogs from vastly different lifestyles falling in love and eating lots of pasta. The leading man of the movie, Tramp, is actually a shelter dog from New Mexico who's been bounced around from a couple shelters, but ended up in Arizona where the scouters found the pup. He's reportedly not the only shelter dog in the movie either, with a large portion of the cast consisting of shelter rescues, most of which ended up finding homes after the filming finished. Truly a rags to riches story. That's going to do it for the news this week, and don't go anywhere because we have an interview with Keith Thiebaud from the Alliance for Community Media and what's trending on Twitter to discuss. Keep it locked right here on Good Night.
This is Lucy Burdge with Good Nights This Week in Music History. We begin in 1965 when the Beach Boys song California Girls was at number 3 on the US singles chart. In 1970, Elton John made his US live debut when he started his 17-date tour at the Troubadour in Los Angeles. Don Henley, Quincy Jones, and Leon Russell were all in the audience that night. Also in 1970, Edwin Starr started a 3-week run at number 1 on the US singles chart with War. What is it good for? In 1975, Bruce Springsteen released his 3rd studio album, Born to Run. In 1978, Frankie Valli went to number 1 on the US singles chart with the Barry Gibb song Grease. In 1987, Sonny Bono announced that he was running for mayor of Palm Springs, California. He won that election in 1988. In 1991, Pearl Jam released their debut album, 10. In 1993, Snoop Dogg was released on $1 million bail after being accused of being involved in the murder of a gang member. In 1995, Seal went to number 1 on the US singles chart with Kiss from a Rose. In 1999, Lou Bega went to number 1 on the UK singles chart with Mambo Number 5. Great song. And in 2001, Aaliyah was killed in a plane crash in the Bahamas. She was 22 years old. In 2003, Rolling Stone magazine named Jimi Hendrix the greatest guitarist in rock history. In 2005, Suge Knight was hospitalized after being shot in the leg at a party hosted by Kanye West. And in 2009, the Los Angeles coroner confirmed Michael Jackson's death was a homicide caused by propofol. This has been Lucy Burdge with Good Nights This Week in Music History. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Lucille Burdge.